Hello, welcome to Gunnervlog. Today I want to talk about a man we've been speaking about for quite a lot of the summer really, and that's Monaco's Thomas Lemar. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Monaco very resistant to selling Lemar, but Arsenal clearly extremely interested in him. And what's been interesting is the debate about the different ways in which he might be used. A lot of people think he could be a direct replacement for Alexis Sanchez, playing off that left-hand side, kind of a creative force, less of a goal scorer, but then maybe in Lacazette we've got someone to make up for those goals. But another interesting way of looking at it is Arsenal haven't been linked with that many central midfielders this season, and this summer rather, and it seems we do need a central midfielder, especially with so many doubts over Santi Cazorla's fitness and availability. So some people have kind of put two and two together and hypothesised that Lemar could be the central midfielder, the number 8 we're looking at. Now, it's not as crazy as it first sounds. For a start, he plays on the left-hand side of a 4-4-2 for Monaco. That's the position that Jack Wilshere played in when he was on loan at Bolton. You know, it's a role that Cesc Fabregas, he played on the right-hand side of a 4-4-2 prior to taking up a role in the centre regularly with Arsenal. There's a long history of players starting on the left or right of a 4-4-2 and ending up very influential in the middle. His style of play fits that too. You know, I haven't seen loads of him, but what I have seen, he is a dynamic dribbler, someone who's got that burst to get away from people, quick feet, good passer, and he doesn't mind the physical side. He's not tall, but he's got a low centre of gravity and he enjoys a tackle. I'll be honest, I'm talking about this player more and more and more. He's sounding less and less like Cazorla to me, and more like Jack Wilshere, left-footed too. I mean, Arsenal ostensibly need someone who can do the job that Wilshere did back in those glory days when he was 19 years old, playing against Barcelona, outclassing Xavi and Iniesta. Lemar has got similar attributes. And yes, a lot of his earlier football has been played in a more advanced role, but watch any YouTube video about Lemar. His best, I know that's no way to scout a player, but his best moments are in games are often breaking on the counter-attack. You know, picking the ball up from deep, beating 2 men, carrying it 30 yards and releasing somebody. He's a sprinter. Wilshere was the same at his best. Diaby was the same at his best. I know he's about a foot taller, but again, it's about having that burst. Wenger loves that in a central midfielder. It's what attracts him to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Aaron Ramsey. He loves someone who's got the power and the pace to get away from people, break between the lines and open up the play. It goes back to Patrick Vieira. It goes back to Petit. It goes back to Gilberto. Always he's looked for that quality in a central midfielder. Diaby might have been the best of all were it not for the injuries he sustained. So maybe there is something of that in Lemar. What about Moussa Dembele at Tottenham? He's a guy who in Belgium and at Fulham played a lot of his football in a more advanced role. We're talking number 10. I even saw him play at striker at times. And he's a different physical type to Lemar, but the skill set is not entirely dissimilar. Again, not a brilliant finisher, not a natural goal scorer, a creator, someone who can beat a man, someone who's got good upper body strength, someone who can flip between the lines. It's not exactly analogous with Cazorla, what Lemar does, but it could be with a Dembele, with a Wilshere, with a Diaby. The Wilshere comparison is really interesting, I think, because again, there's been debate over his best position, and if Lemar does arrive, and I think it's going to take a huge offer to do it, Monaco under no pressure to sell, I think it makes it very hard for Wilshere. If he's got Lemar and Xhaka, you know, 2 left-footed playmakers in the central midfield to compete with. Or maybe we've got the wrong end of the stick. Maybe he comes in, he plays. Maybe he's the long-term replacement for Mesut Ozil. You know, maybe we're thinking Ozil's only sticking around 12 months. We need someone who can play in that inside right role. That could be Lemar too. I suppose part of the appeal for Arsene Wenger is he doesn't know where he's going to end up. But he knows he's a top-class talent. And there are a lot of different roles he can fulfil within this team. It looks like a difficult deal to do, but fingers crossed we get it done because there's clearly a very talented player there. Cheers.